Welcome to my tarot, Sudipta Tarot once more. Um, Today I have come up with a very unique reading. I had done something similar in the past. It was like a only two card tarot reading describing the situation or your current circumstances at the point of when you may have seen that particular video. So I thought I'm going to just try out something similar again this time, and this time not with just two cards, but actually with four cards. So we have four cards in each of these five groups in front of you, and again the idea is whichever group you pick, going by your gut, going gut instinct, your intuition, that group should shed some light on the pertinent, on something that may be very pertinent, very relevant for your current situation whenever you are looking at this particular video, right? So again, just four cards, and hopefully that's good enough to channel some divine guidance for you all. And that can really help you, that can really describe your current situation or circumstances, and hopefully provide you some guidance going forward as to how you can, improve the situation or, deal with the situation. If it's a positive situation, then maybe, how you can make it even better, right? So hopefully you find it interesting. So do let me know in the comment, whether this was helpful for you, and if you found this format pretty interesting, and if you want me to do more videos, like this. And I have also, I will also try to put the link to the earlier video that I had done before, that I mentioned over here, that was just with the two cards. So that if you want, you can check out that video as well. So having said that, let's move on with the actual reading. You have again five groups in front of you, and again purposely I have not kept any crystals over here this time, because I want you to choose the group purely based on instinct or intuition, or if you feel like any particular group is just pulling you for some reason or the other. Maybe the distribution of the cards, how the cards have been kept, maybe some card particularly popping out, whatever it is. I think take that as a divine signal and go by that particular group, and hopefully that will give you some guidance. So you have five groups in front of you: group 1, group 2, group 3, and then group 4, group 5, right? Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So take a moment, pause the video if you want, and then choose a group of your liking, and then you can find the corresponding, the group timing given in the description box below. So thank you once more, and I'll see you in your respective reading. Hey, group number 1, for those of you who have chosen that first group, this will be your reading. So let's see what kind of situation you are dealing with currently, and what you really need to, keep in mind and address based on this reading. Now, to start with, for this particular group, please pay very careful attention to what I'm going to say as per, in this reading. And I think especially for this particular group, it's very important because, and I hope the universe and my God can really help me channelize the message for this particular group, because I see some drastic things coming out, really popping out, and I'm kind of worried for this particular group. And I don't want to sound scary. I don't want to scare you off at the very outset. But hopefully, you will listen to what I'm about to say over here and do accordingly. Why I say that is because for this particular group, all 4 of these cards, they are showing something very prominently. So for example, if you look at these 2 cards, right, at the very top, they have come out both reversed. Now, if I were to turn them upright, you will see that this is first of all showing the form of Rudra. Rudra is another form of Shiva, Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. So as you know, in Hinduism, there's Trinity that the Hindus revere. There is Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar, or Shiva. Lord Brahma stands for creation. Lord Vishnu stands for sustenance or preservation. And then Lord Shiva stands for destruction. Now again, it is a fundamental paradigm behind creation, right? So something happens, something gets created, something stays over its lifespan, gets sustained, and then it is destroyed to pave way for new creation. So this creation, preservation, destruction. Now, so Lord Shiva is the god of destruction, and don't think that just because I'm saying destruction over here, that has any negative connotation, because destruction has to precede creation. So when a painter is painting something on the canvas, he has to have a blank canvas first, right? And also one form of Lord Shiva is the Rudra. That is actually the destructive form. And if you compare this image, this card, with this card, if you can straight away see that in both of them there's a dominance of red, right? Red color. And see, and also if you see over here, this one is showing fire coming out from his face, right? This one also showing a dragon. Of course, when you think of dragon, the first thing that you think of is, dragons are prone to, throw flames from their, shoot flames from their mouth, right? So then both, there's a lot of red, there's a lot of fiery energy, a lot of Martian energy, right? And whenever you see this fiery energy, the Martian energy, remember both of these cards had come out reversed. That means in some way, that fiery energy, that Martian energy has some negative connotation to it. It's not being used properly. Remember, energy is good, especially Martian energy. It's also known as commanders. You can find that kind of energy in commanders, in generals, in army, and it can really help you do a lot of things positive, because it provides you that spirit, that drive, that virality, the virility to do something. But when it comes negative, when it comes reversed, then there is some sort of, there's something to be really cautious about. That means that energy is not being used properly, and it somehow is and again, in the very fact that it's coming up Rudra, it's a kind of a destructive energy, right? And it's destroying you, maybe from inside. There's some pent-up frustration. There's a lot of pent-up frustration, pent-up anger. There's a lot of pent-up, hatred towards maybe yourself or towards maybe another person. And that's destroying you, and that may also end up maybe destroying the other person, right? So this is the scary part. And so if you see, it's saying letting go, right? So let go of that energy, right? And also, the interesting, thing is, I'm going to, keep these 2 cards for now, right this. But remember, they had originally come out reversed. So keep that in mind, because that has a lot of implication for your reading. But I want to draw your attention to something else. Now I come to these two cards. Here it clearly says the venom, poison. That means there's a lot of poison, lot of negative energy that's, that is sitting within you right now. That is creating a lot of havoc within you and around you, right? Now, one more interesting thing. Just look at the symbolism, how tarot comes out. And again, I swear to God, all these cards are randomly drawn, right? But how they all come together to paint a beautiful picture and tell a perfect story, I get amazed every time. Now, look at this. If you take this card, the King of Cups, come out reversed again, remember. If you take this card, look at King of Cups. If you take this one, it says Flos Sapientum, the red and white rose. And if you look at this card, in all three, you see this dragon is eyeing this pearl, something valuable, something small, something valuable. Sorry, I'm a very bad bout of cough. This dragon is eyeing this pearl, something precious, something valuable. Now come over here, the venom. Again, you see this mouth. You can make out this the fangs over here, right? The sharp teeth, the fangs. It's some sort of like a dark energy. And within that dark energy, you see this earth hidden inside this dark energy, hidden inside this dark entity. Earth, right? Again, over here, if you see this rose. And this serpent, this red serpent making its way around the rose. So in all of these three cards, the same symbology that comes up again and again. There's something valuable, something vulnerable, right? Something precious is being engulfed by some negative energy, by some scary thing, some scary energy, right? Here the dragon is eyeing this pearl. Here this serpent is making its way around the rose, which is vulnerable. And within the rose also there is another pearl, right? Here this world, it's wholly engulfed by this dark energy. What does that mean? Now that can mean two things. It can go two ways. This can mean you, this pearl over here, this rose over here, this world over here. It can mean you and your potential. What you stand for, your core being, your positivity is being engulfed by your negativity, right? So you're now finding yourself in an extremely dark place, when you are seeing this reading, and everything good about you, everything positive about you, your potential, what you are capable of doing is being swallowed, is being engulfed, is being torn apart in that whirlwind of negativity. That fire, that fire of poison, that fire of hatred, that fire of negativity towards someone or towards yourself is destroying all that is good about you, and it's hiding your true potential, right? And it's destroying all that's nice, your possibilities. That's one thing. That is scary, right? Now the second thing, which is also scary, if not scarier, is that this can mean someone else. This rose can mean someone else, right? This world can mean someone else's world. So God forbid, and again I said it with utmost sincerity, and I please take this reading, listen to this reading carefully, take it to your heart and act upon this, because something very, very important is coming up. That there's a lot of pent-up energy, frustration, negativity in you that can also be seeking to destroy someone else. And this could be related to maybe some love affairs, where you are scorned by your loved one, where you may feel there's a strong sense of betrayal, right? And where you feel exploited, you feel belittled, right? You feel that you are addicted to the wrong kind of lover. Or you may be someone like that, and you may have lot of possessiveness. You may be obsessing about someone, and your obsession is reaching a dangerous level, where it's starting to not only damage you but also create problem for the other person, the person, who's at the center of your obsession, right? So if you're, so stay away from anything that can cause danger for you and that can also cause danger for the loved one. Remember one thing very important in love. If you truly love someone, if you truly have feeling for someone, right, then love finds its ultimate expression in sacrifice. Right? If you really love someone, let go of that person. You should find happiness when that person is happy, really happy. You should not try to destroy another person's happiness. Love is not about that. That is selfishness, right? That is obsession. That is some sort of a perversion, right? Real love, finds happiness when the object of your love is happy, right? And where real love finds expression through sacrifice, right? So remember that. So again, I don't know what's the real story with you, but I can tell you for sure that you are seeking to either destroy yourself, or you are seeking to destroy someone else, or maybe both, right? Because this kind of negativity, strong negative energy, right? This kind of strong fiery energy, that is misdirected. Again, these two kind of reversed, and that is misdirected, can never do anyone anything good. That's why you are being strongly told to, asked to let go. Forget about that. If something doesn't belong to you, then you should not obsess over it. You should take it as the sign from the universe that it was never meant for you. Right? Move away from it. Whether it's some sort of a love affair, whether it's some sort of a, something that you are badly craving for. Right? Move away from it. Go somewhere else. Go for a trip away from that person or that object, right? Try to keep yourself busy in some other creative pursuit, right? Maybe take up some other hobby, go somewhere else, read books, right? Listen to music. Move away from that person as far as you can, right? But clearly, and what worries me most is, this kind of imagery where, you see that, and I would hate to imagine that this snake or this dragon or this, someone, with these fangs, these bare fangs is you. And, and you are out to destroy someone's world. You are out to, poison someone's world, right? I really hope that is not who you are, because I like to believe that my readers, my viewers are pure souls. And again, people make mistakes. Don't take me wrong, right? Everyone makes mistakes. That's why I think this tarot reading has come out, and that's why maybe you are watching this video. So that, and I know that a lot of times things happen that may not go your way, and you feel cheated, you feel frustrated, you feel extreme sense of frustration and anger, and that a kind of a torrential firestorm of loss building up within you, that foreboding sense of doom, right? But then no matter what happens, remember there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And there's a need for you to self-restraint, to move away from the situation, right? Letting go, right? And, and this is good for you. This is good for any other person, who may be the object of your this venom or poison. And if you are the victim of someone else's venom, that's another thing, right? So one is that frustration and building up within you, and you are destroying yourself, or maybe you are about to destroy someone else. There's also the chance that you are the victim over here, right? And then maybe you are associating with someone, or you are someone, or maybe a group of people who are really out to get you. So here you are the one, that this pearl or this rose, right? And your world is being obscured. Your world is about to, is being overwhelmed by this dark energy around you. So, right? So here maybe you are the victim. And unknowingly, knowingly or unknowingly, maybe you're about to walk into some sort of a trap, or maybe some sort of, you are associating with people who are not good for you, not good for your future progress, and are not good for you in any way. So even in that sense, I think, you are being asked to let go, right? So move away from that association, and you may not be able to do that right now. That's why it had come out reversed. So move away from that association, move away from that love affair, right? Move away from those friends. Right? So clearly take this as a very strong indication that there's some negative energy building up either around you or within you, and then depending on how it resonates with you, take it accordingly. But then if it's you, who has a lot of this pent-up frustration, try to stymie it, find ways to, move away and, keep yourself meaningfully occupied, right? And definitely, if it's a love affair, if it's someone of your, that who's the object of your infatuation, obsession, move away from that person, let that person be happy. And if you are the victim, move away from that association, go somewhere else, right? So take this reading seriously, think about it, right? See what may be most applicable to you, and then do accordingly, right? And again, I will now keep this card back to how it was, but they're both reversed. Again, this is destructive energy, fiery energy, a lot of, is clearly, this is what's really bothering me. Whether it's you, whether it's you encroaching on someone's world, or it's where someone else is encroaching on your world and trying to overwhelm, right? So pay very close attention, think about this, and act accordingly, depending on whether you are the victim or you're about to, or your pent-up anger, your negative energy is about to destroy someone else's world. And in either case, remember, even if you are about to, you have some negative thoughts about others, remember, that's also not good for you as well. Right? That negativity cannot do good to anyone. The person who's harboring that negative energy and the person towards whom that negative energy is directed, it's not good for anyone. Right? So take up meditation, go somewhere else, take up some good hobbies, right? Take up some different friend association, right? Do whatever it takes to move away from that negativity. And remember, time is the biggest healer, right? That's another thing. It could also be, and I think I have touched upon it, but maybe not to that extent, is that this could also indicate, that it's your negativity, your sense of this. First of all, this talks about the third chakra, right? And, that's a solar plexus chakra. And when the solar plexus chakra, clearly it looks like it's out of balance, right? And so when it's out of balance, that means, you could also be suffering from this, that negative energy may be also causing a lot of low self-esteem, and lack of confidence, fear, loss of control. And so in that case, as I said before, this could be you, this pearl, this flower, this world is actually your world, and you are this flower, you are this pearl. But remember, there's another third possibility. So remember, I said I had talked about two possibilities before, where this negativity is destroying your world, and at the same time, it may be destroying someone else's world. And in the second possibility, where you may be this vulnerable person, the victim over here, and someone else is trying to overshadow your world in some way, some negative way. There's a third variant to this, where it is you. Both of them are you, right? So it is your negativity, your fiery energy that is causing a lot of damage to you. No one else but just you, right? Because when you are, and I think this kind of relates to that first possibility, right? Because, where you are feeling low self-esteem, there's a lot of pent-up negative energy. Obviously the first person that it ends up damaging is yourself. Because remember what I said in the original reading, that when you are harboring negative energy, when you are harboring something so fiery within you, and that is not finding a positive expression, then that's going to first of all end up damaging you, And then secondly, if your anger is directed towards someone else, then it's going to end up damaging that person, right? So again, group number 1, I hope this message resonates with you. And please let me know in the comment if you found this really useful. So this is all for you. God bless. Thank you so much. Hey friends, the group number 2, this is your reading. Let's see what this 4 card tells you about your current situation and what you may need to take into account. Now, so you have 1 tarot card, 1 oracle card, and these 2 are kind of alchemy card that I would like to, refer to them as. Now, in your case also, just like in group number 1, these 2, the tarot card and the oracle card has come out reversed. Now, for the purpose of this reading and for convenience, I may turn them around just so that we can discuss them, and what they may mean, the implication of these 2 cards. But always remember that these 2 cards had come out reversed in your reading, right? Now, first of all, if you see this one, it talks about dreams, right? And it has number 33, right? And so 3. And then here, this one, if it talks XXI, which is in Roman numeral, it's actually 21, right? This is also, if you add up, it's 3. So you have 3 straight away, right? Now 3 in numerology, it talks about creativity. It also talks about, some positive, some working in a group and growing as a result, right? So creativity, group, something to do with groups, something to do with harmony, association and growth coming out from that. Now, so there is something over here to do with communication. So one thing, and there's a couple of things that I will probably discuss for this particular group. So one thing that's coming out is the communication, and communication is not happening properly, right? What also interesting is if you see this one, the Eros card, Eros has a little bit of a maybe a sexual implication, but I think in this case, more than that, what's coming up, at least to me, is that if you see these 2 lips are holding a diamond within, something valuable within. That means, again, it's communication. Whatever, you may be someone who's very creative by nature. And also one more thing is, this overall spread talks about the 5th chakra. The 5th chakra is the throat chakra, or the Manipura chakra, the Vishuddha chakra. And the throat chakra is all about communication. So when it's in balance, you communicate, you can communicate freely, you can communicate clearly, you are also very maybe intuitive. And whereas when it is out of balance, remember again, these 2 cards had come out reversed. That's what I'm talking about, out of balance, right? When it is out of balance, it's really, your insecurity, anxiety, maybe, you are too fearful of being judged, right? And that's why, you are, or maybe you are, you feel powerless to speak out, right? So you could be someone who's introvert, someone maybe too shy, you are reserved, right? So whatever it is, something is hampering your power to communicate clearly, right? But otherwise, or hampering your creative process, your creative juice from coming out, from flowing, right? And clearly, I think your success is in letting go. It is in basically getting over that inhibition and communicating freely and clearly, right? And maybe, sorry, your communication can find any medium, any means. It can be through maybe, writing, maybe poem, maybe some other creative form of self-expression like painting, maybe some, maybe you're a filmmaker, right? Anything else, right? Wherever you can let go of yourself and, you can communicate to others freely, and, and that is one thing. And also, it's about bonding, right? It's about feeling that oneness with the world, right? That's why this world has come out, and even this world is coming out reversed, right? Remember, both of these cards were originally showing up in reversed in your reading, right? So that, whatever, and by letting go, when you feel that oneness with the world, right? Where, that's also another thing. So you're not feeling that. So maybe I sense that this group is, a bunch of people who could be introverts, who could be reserved, who has some sense of inhibition, strong sense of inhibition, some very sensitive, right? Also, and so that's all is causing some sort of a blockage. That's why you are not, letting your creative juice flow fully, and you are not getting that recognition, right? But clearly, whatever you say, or whatever, the way, you can, you choose to uh, uh, let out your inner feelings, your creative juices, right? That can be very valuable, because that's why it's clearly showing that the diamond is coming out. Also, if you look at this one, the alchemical wedding, what does that mean? Alchemy, if you know, in the ancient, history, there were certain people who were known as alchemists, who could create gold out of ordinary metals, right? So that's another thing, right? So that means there's something within you, or maybe something that you are meant to do as a part of an overall larger group, right? Maybe some of you, who are also like part of those, are actors, or maybe you are creative folks who are meant to do something as part of a larger group, right? Maybe as a part of a society, maybe or part of a larger ensemble, right? And this alchemy is another thing where you are meant to create something out of nothing, something valuable out of something very mundane, right? And so that's one thing. Second thing is, see this dream card coming out river. That means you are being asked to pay very careful attention to dreams, right? Because maybe oftentimes when we dream, we get a lot of vibrant, dreams, and oftentimes we may forget about them when we wake up. Right, but if you wake up and if you can recall something out of that dream, try to make note of that. Maybe you're getting, the universe may be trying to tell you or communicate to you something through your dreams that you may need to make, you may do well making note of, right? And the other thing is also this association. Remember what I talked about, that 33, or number 3. There's also, this 6 is also playing a big role in your life, in this reading. 3 and 6, and again, 3 talks about creativity, group, and growth, whereas 6 talked about communication, cooperation, harmony. So again, that feeling of some positive association, working with a larger group, or working with maybe someone else, that is coming out also very strongly in this reading, right? So if you can see this world crab also, you are not alone. You are finding a larger expression of yourself by associating with someone else, right? And not only that, you're also embracing not only someone else, a fellow being, but you're also embracing the larger aspect of the world, the nature, the water, the stars, everything, right? And so that, and plus over here also, if you see it's showing a couple of snakes, again, that strong connotation of association, message of association, right? So I feel you will find, your greatest satisfaction and, your greatest success in letting go of yourself, in breaking those barriers that, you may have set around yourself, that is preventing you from expressing freely and from mixing freely with others, and by thereby losing that opportunity to communicate and to create something meaningful, something valuable, as part of that larger, group of people, or maybe even just one person, right? So I think that's what's coming out very clearly, right? And then, so just pay attention to that. So the other thing that I think so the communication and creativity are very important, right? Okay, let's see what else is coming out. Sorry, I have a bad cough. And again, if you look over here, this duality, right? You have this dark, the black and the white, right? If over here, you can see that the white and this dark, right? And so again, one who can straddle across that duality, right? That means also balance, right? Because in this world, it's all about duality, right? When you talk about positive, you have to talk about negative. When you talk about light, you have to talk about shadow, right? When you talk about good, you have to talk about bad. You cannot talk about one ignoring the other in this world, right? Unfortunately, we always talk about, just, being good, choosing the positive. We always prefer light than shadow. But at the same time, this is the world of duality. So in this world, with light there will always be shadow. With positivity there will always be negativity. With light, or with good there will always be bad. That's why we see so much conflict in this world, right? And that's why you as an individual, you have to always strive for that good, that positivity, the light. But at the same time, you should also not be overwhelmed when it comes to when life throws you curveballs. When you find yourself low, when you find yourself surrounded by darkness, when you find yourself going through some negative phases, right? That means what is required? Balance, right? And so if you find yourself balanced, if you find yourself perfectly calm and satisfied, and then that will also lead to greater self-confidence, right? That you have nothing to lose, right? And you are perfectly balanced, you are perfectly assured, you are perfectly poised, right? So in that case, there will be nothing to lose. In that case, you will be able to perfectly communicate, and you will be able to perfectly bond with other people, right? And then create something through that association, through that group, and create something beautiful. And find that sense of expression not only with people but also in harmony with the entire nature, right? Harmony. That harmony cannot come again. That harmony is same as balance, right? Being able to harmonize everything, not only outside but also inside, right? That's very important, right? So again, I'm going to now keep this in the original reversed position so that we don't lose sense of that. So that's couple. So couple of important things that are coming out are again finding that inner balance, and then that will find expression through finding balance in the outer perspective, being able to communicate and create freely, lowering your inhibitions, lowering your guard, and again that will also come when you are perfectly balanced and poised within, right? And you have that assuredness, the self-confidence. And I think you should be self-confident because again, I'm clearly seeing that you are a very creative person, and you are meant to do something very useful, through your creativity or through your communication, or and maybe lead a group, or maybe do something very creative, like as I've already said, it's through your writing, through your through your artistry, through your theater, acting skills, through your filmmaking, right? Maybe you are a natural leader, who can really bond with others, and who can really drive others to do something meaningful. As I said, maybe as part of a theater group, maybe even in normal work environment, where if you learn to communicate clearly, and if you learn to work with others, maybe that natural leadership skills that are hidden inside you, they are going to start coming out, and that will lead you to a higher, a path to higher progress, right? So clearly this alchemy, and the wall, and this diamond coming out over here, that's the big message that something is out there for you, that you are not fully leveraging right now, that you are not really fully seeing. So you have a lot of potential, and you are suppressing your potential, just being not being sure of yourself. And also, I think that dream world, this dream can also mean that you're living in a dream world. Like, you have created, you have to come out of the dream. You have to come out in reality, accept reality for what it is. And again, this happens generally for people who are very sensitive, introvert, very shy, who want to stay in their own world, right? Who doesn't want to come out in the reality and face the reality. But once you face the reality, once you develop that inner balance, once you learn to be in harmony with the nature and the world, and learn to take the good with the bad, the negative with the positive, take everything as a flow of, as some sort of like a divine orchestra, right? Sorry. Then that will do a lot of good for yourself, and then maybe, as I said before, maybe also as part of that group, or the person that you come to associate with. You may also find other person providing you a helping hand that you may not be seeing right now, right? So clearly your growth is going to come not only through your own effort and through your own talent, but I also, as I see, again, this focus on growth through association, through helpful association, through good friends, or maybe that one person who's out trying to reach out to you, help you. Even that you may not be seeing, because you are keeping yourself closely guarded, right? So I think that's all I'm seeing for you, group number 2. Let me see if anything else that's really coming out. So again, creativity, number 3 and number 6, cooperation, harmony, being in balance, right? Letting your guard down, being in harmony, being in balance, being self-assured, being less sensitive, right? And then being very perceptive to dreams. And then if particularly if you are a writer, oftentimes or if you are a creative person, oftentimes you may see certain things in dreams that you can really build upon, right? If you can recollect, or if you can capture some of that dream. So immediately after, if you have gone through some dreams, and when you wake up in the morning, maybe you can keep a notebook beside you so that you can make some note, because that may be one way that the universe is trying to communicate with you, right? So you could be a medium, through which something from the universe is maybe is trying to channelize. Right. Just like, for example, tarot readers, right? Or they try to channelize that that universal message, right? And so you could be also something like that, right? And another thing, group number 2, and I think this is very important actually, and is that if you look at this, the number 33. Number 33 is actually a very powerful master number. And number 33 is, actually talks about, it's about it's a master healer. I also sense that I think some of you, you may be very spiritual in nature, and you may have some spiritual responsibility, or not. And if not spiritual, again, if you remember what I said earlier, you may be people who have, who may have some inherent leadership quality. Right, and so that is one very important thing, right? Is that people with master number 33, they have a profound, they can guide humanity, they can guide people, through compassion, through selfless devotion, and so you may have a higher purpose yourself, and you may also help guide others towards that goal, right? So somebody who embody, for whom this number comes up, they can be very powerful influence, powerful people, who can have powerful influence on others, and can inspire really positive transformation in others, right? I think that's why how you can transform others, how you can have that influence on others if you cannot communicate freely, if you cannot express yourself freely through communication and through creativity, right? So that is also another very important thing. So having this master number 33 is very important and very critical for this reading. And I think you are not really realizing your fullest potential, right? That's why, and also that's if you remember what I said, because you are meant to influence others in a positive way, transform others, not only yourself, in a positive way through your writing, through your creativity. That's why also it's also very important that the dream has come up. That again, remember what I said. Universe could be sending some powerful messages through you, channelizing through you. And so you are probably a conduit to carry that universal message, right, from a higher source, higher being, right? And so you have to be really very self-assured in that respect, and so that you can really let that communicate that to the rest of the world and to your fellow beings, right? So that's also a very important thing, and keep in mind. The group number 2. So keep that in mind, and hopefully this really helps you. Group number 2, all the best, and I'm glad to be doing this reading for you. Thank you so much. Hello, group number 3. This will be your reading. We'll see what the 4 card that you see in front of you right now. What do they indicate about your current position, and what sort of possibilities lie ahead of you when you are seeing this reading? So first of all, this is a very powerful group. It's a very positive group, right? And I hope I can do justice to this group, and whatever messages that I'll try to channelize, does justice to this group, because it's a very wonderful group. So group number 3. First of all, this talks about a section of people who are standing at the cusp of possibilities, wonderful possibilities, who have, at that point of inflection, where you have been through certain struggle, and that struggle can take on any definition, any meaning, depending on your particular situation. It can be like just a regular struggle, just like everyone or most of us who are not born with a silver spoon or a gold spoon in their mouth, who have to struggle through the early phase of their life, and to reach a particular point in their career or in their destiny, in their life journey. It can also mean struggle in real sense, where you have had to gone through a lot of unfortunate occurrences, lot of turbulence, lot of ups and downs, mostly maybe down, lots of personal struggles, economic, mental, anything, right? So bottom line is, the main point is, if you look at these 2 cards, this one and this one, this is the 10 of Wands, right? And this one is the Hunter. If you look at both of these 2 cards, here the horse, this horse is clearly proceeding towards the light. It says the Hunter. Why it's the Hunter? Because you have been hunting for possibilities, even in your darkest moment, even during your struggling phase. You have never lost sight of the goal, right? You have always had the goal, in your sight, and you have been clearly focused all the time. That's why you are coming out of this dark phase. You are coming out of this death phase, or there's a transformation happening, right? Here also you see this human skull signifying death, right? And so there's some sort of a transformation happening. So a new life is coming out. Some new possibilities are emerging from something that has closed for you, something that has died. This death can be also taken symbolically, in the meaning that something that has no relevance for you anymore, something that has closed, something your past, that is your past, and that has no relevance for your present or your future, right? So same over here. See this dark cloud So you are leaving that behind, and ahead, it's all light, and you are proceeding from here, right? So that's why you're the hunter. You are like that, that horse. Um, sorry, sorry for my cough. It's been a problem for all my readings, so just bear with it. So anyway, so that's one thing. So a transformation is happening, a change is happening, and a positive change is happening, right? And not only that, if you look at this tarot card, right, it shows Lord Brahma. I think in group number 1, where I was talking about the Trinity in Hinduism, where, we talk about the Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva standing for creation, preservation, and then destruction. So this is this symbolizes the natural rhythm of the universe, where the universe, one cycle gets created, it sustains, or it's preserved for a certain time, and then it eventually gets destroyed to pave way for new creation. And you can see it not only in a larger macrocosm in terms of overall creation of universe, but you can see it in everyday life, in microcosm also, in day-to-day life, where things are born, they are sustained for some time, they go through their life cycle, and then they die to pave way for something new. It also applies to our personal life. We grow up, we go through our life, and then at some point all of us have to say goodbye to this world, only to take life as a new being, following the principle of reincarnation as is propounded in Hinduism, right? Even Buddhism talks about that, reincarnation and karma. That's why the effect of karma comes into play. Anyway, I don't want to digress too much. So this creation, this clearly talks about creation. That means a new beginning, right? So again, this creation coming right side by side with the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands in traditional tarot deck also talks about struggle. So if you look at the traditional tarot, the imagery over there is someone who's carrying a lot of burden on their back, and they're trying to carry that burden and yet follow a steadfast path, right? Not deviating from their path. So clearly you have someone that who have gone through that struggle, and despite that struggle, you have been responsible. You have not lost sight, of your goal. You have, someone, very determined, right? And that's why, a new creative phase is emerging in your life. New possibilities are emerging. A change is happening. You have gone through some transformation, right? Now, that's the main thing. Secondly, if you look at these two, right, what draws my attention also is, and even over here, right, if you see, Brahma has 4 heads, right? Actually, this symbolizes 4 directions of the 4 Vedas. He's supposed to be well versed in the 4 Vedas of Hinduism, all right? But here, there's 4 heads. If you look at this tree that's emerging from here, there's multiple branches, and I shouldn't even call them multiple branches because they all look like they are all like the principal branch. There is no clear one single main branch. All of them, they look like main branch, right? Then if you look over here, there's multiple rays are coming out from the source of light, right? So there is a clear emphasis on multiple, more than one possibility. So at this point of life, maybe that's another message for you, that not only you are standing at the cusp of new possibilities, positive growth, transformation, a new beginning, right? But also that beginning can take the form of multiple possibilities, right? Multiple things, multiple opportunities, right? So now you have to it's up to you to basically pick and choose, or maybe you are someone who can do justice to more than one possibility, right? Maybe you are someone who's multi-talented, who has maybe more than one set of skills or maybe one set of talents. So you can, like a lot of people, they have their main job or their main occupation, but they also have hobbies. And some people can also really turn their hobbies into a side profession, right? Or engage in some other occupations beside the main occupation. So I think this group is like that, where you are being encouraged to follow that. And not only that, also to, whenever it comes to this multiple opportunities or multiple possibilities, there's also a need to clearly, think through and see what may be best for you. And because there could be multiple possibilities, and you could be very good in more than one things, but even then, sometimes there is a need to prioritize, right? Sometimes there's a need to plan out properly. So that's another message for you, right? And then now you come to this card. It talks about lac virginis, virgin's milk. Two things are coming out from here, right? Actually, three things. Very powerful card, very powerful symbology. First of all, it shows a blue rose. Now, in general, blue rose is a very rare thing. I don't know if there is at all, you can find occurrences of blue rose, right? So it talks about that rare quality. So you are like that blue rose, someone who's very rare, someone who's very extra special. And again, that talks about these multiple opportunities. So you are clearly a group of people who are very special, right? Who have multiple skills, or who can stand out from the crowd. And that's why I said also, because I think maybe that's why you are very determined. You are very resilient. You never have lost focus. You are also, situations may have tried to pin you down, but you have always stood up, right? You have always persevered, right? So your determination, your multiple skills, your opportunities, possibilities, makes you really someone unique. Not only that, you could also be spiritually inclined, right? Because this blue talks about something extraterrestrial, more spiritual, right? Again, so if you look at if you think from the vibration perspective, right? So if you the red has low vibration, whereas blue is in high vibration, right? So and so blue talks about high vibration. Who are people with high vibration, right? People who have a lot of love, this good, the finer qualities in life, love, compassion, kindness for other, devotion. These all are indicated by high vibration, right? So you are people of high vibration, right? So you are clearly multi-talented, you are clearly determined, you are clearly have a lot of focus and resilience, very strength of character. And you may have a spiritual inclination also. And because of your special, because you being extra special, I think there's also, if you see, this is the virgin's milk that's dropping from the sky, right? And again, virgin's milk, that word itself is also a kind of a, what is it called? Oxymoron in a way, right? Someone who is a virgin, how can she have milk in her breast, right? Because milk comes in a mother's breast, right? It's a part of that motherhood process, right? So if someone is a virgin who's not carrying a child in her womb, how can she develop milk, right? But in your case, again, that talks about that extra special, standing away from the crowd, right? That's why you being extra special, that's why the universe, this milk, actually, I take it as universal blessing, right? So the universe is blessing you, right? So again, that's why I said this is a very powerful group, a set of very special people who have a lot of things to offer to the to the world, to the larger humanity or community. Through your creation. So creation can also be taken literally. Some of you may have a lot of creative talent, a knack for something to do with creation. And that comes as no surprise because of given your multifaceted personality, your multiple skill set, your multiple talents. So I'm sure some of you you may have a lot of creative knack, and maybe creativity in more than one area. It can take expression. It can find expression through more than one creative field, right? So that's another thing. So again, very, very positive and very, very, very strong group. So again, it talks about transformation. It talks about you coming out of that shadow, right? Leaving that darker, not so pleasant, or all your struggles behind, and finally looking up to, success, looking up to positivity, positive changes, looking up to light, right? And then multiple possibilities, right? Maybe some call for planning over here, homework and prioritization, right? And then no matter, again, very special people, no matter what you do, I think success is assured, and maybe in more than one field, right? Again, you could have some spiritual insight, inclination. I would say nurture that, right? Because there's clearly a universal blessing coming in. And in some of your cases, if you really follow that spiritual inclination, I won't be surprised if you also get to meet, your master, in spiritual master who can further hone you, who can further polish you and make you more special, extra special, and really make a diamond out of you, right? Because we are you are a diamond, but you are not polished yet, right? So when you get in the hand of a master, the master polishes the diamond, right? Makes it extra shiny, right? Something that can benefit others, right? So I think that is this particular group. So again, very, very powerful. And again, you have number 3, you have number 9, right? And 9 and 10. So 9 and 10. So 10 itself also talks about that change. One thing closing and new thing happening, right? So positive. In your case, much very, very positive changes coming your way, right? And 9 also talks about higher learning. Again, the spiritual push, right? So I won't be surprised that in your life the spirituality may play a very prominent role now or in the later phases of your life, right? And that can also find expression through your creative, through your creativity, right? So wonderful group, and again, hopefully, this has resonated with you, and you have found this useful, group number 3. And again, I'm very glad to be doing this reading for you. God bless, all the best. Thank you so much. Bye. Hey, group number 4, for those of you who have chosen this reading, this will be your group. Let's see what's coming out. And this is supposed to be a 4-card reading. Now, your groups, this is a very interesting group, okay? This is an extremely interesting group. It's an extremely exceptional group, because though the purpose of this reading is supposed to be 4-card reading, as I've mentioned in the introduction, but for this group, and again, I did a blind draw of all the groups, right? And totally guided by intuition. Right? Now, in this group, when I was turning the cards, and was doing the spread, surprise, surprise, I found that instead of 4 cards, this group, ended up pulling another card, the 5th card, right? Which is highly unusual and which is also highly exceptional. Also, not only because it is not any some random card, it actually completes this sequence. And I'm going to talk about this more further in the reading, but just to give you an example, you see, if you look at this card, it talks about fire. This talks about smoke. This talks about ash. So I hope you can make the connection over here, right? Because something burns, so for that fire is needed, right? And then while it is burning, it emits smoke. And then when the burning is complete, what is left behind? Ember or ash, right? So you can see the sequence. And for this to come out accidentally, or so-called accidentally, and and really complete this sequence by itself is just really amazing. And I've even till today, after even doing a lot of tarot readings, I'm still get amazed by how universe, brings together, pulls together a story to complete the picture, right? And so please pay close attention to what I'm going to say in this reading, because this has been clearly divinely orchestrated, right? So to start with, it starts with this interference card. And again, this has come out reversed. Interference, but for the sake of this reading, I'm going to like keep it upside down, keep it, turn it around so that I can better explain the symbology and discuss this card a little bit, right? So if you look at this card, it's signifies the third eye chakra, or the Agna chakra in the body. That is the place of the wisdom. And some of you, if you are familiar with the symbology of Hindu gods and goddesses, you may, if you see Lord Shiva's image or picture, you will see there's a third eye. Right? That's the eye of insight. That's the eye of wisdom. That's the eye of intuition, right? Consciousness, right? Now, in your case, this has come out reversed. That means that chakra or that area is little out of balance, maybe. And when it happens, what happens when it is little out of balance, right? Then it leads to a lot of, that lack of insight, that lack of that focus, right? Unfocused, and also a lot of emotional issues. Because also if you see over here, just beneath this third eye, you have this half crescent moon, right? And the moon stands for mind, right? And then you also, I don't know if you can see clearly, there are these two swans on both the sides, and the swan stands for divine wisdom, Hamsa, right? Divine wisdom. Now, the fact that, you cannot see these swans clearly and they are kind of lost behind this maze, all this happening at the forefront, that says that this is all like the maze of worldly activity. All our mundane happenings, day-to-day life, as we go about our daily duties, their daily chores, we have to take care of multiple responsibilities, multiple obligations and all. We get exposed to different kind of people, different associations, different environments, right? All that starts having an impact on us, starts bombarding our senses, especially nowadays with a lot of social media, a lot of endless flow of information, right? Online media, so much. All that ends up having an influence on all of us. We get exposed to all that unnecessary influences, and that really suppresses our inner our inner that third eye, right? And it makes us disoriented, right? So then this chakra becomes out of balance, and when that happens, people become unfocused. People lose sight. People become more sensitive, more sentimental, more judgmental, right? And they also can suffer from, as a result, a lot of health issues like migraine and headaches and all that stuff, and too much stressed unnecessarily. So in your case, that is very true. That's what may be happening, and that's why it's coming out reversed. So I think you are a group that is getting lost in these worldly activities too much, and you're getting too much bombarded with information and a lot of external influences, and that's why you are losing sight of who you really are and what should be your real goal in this life. And also this 42 is 6, number 6. 6 stands for communication, 6 stands for cooperation, 6 stands for harmony. So again, this card coming out reversed, that means there's a lack of harmony. There's a lack of balance, not only inside you, also maybe there's a lack of harmony in your dealings with others, right? And that's why, you are getting lost in this worldly maze too much, influences too much. And you're getting exposed to all these influences too much, external factors too much, right? Now, if you come to this fire, this card over here, see fire. Now, this fire seems to play a big role in your reading because you see fire over here. This is the 9 of Wands. You see this lady, this girl in white, where white stands for purity, pristine. This is actually you. This is your soul, right? It's a pure soul. Every one of us is a pure being. We are inherently pure. But what happens? We get our purity gets overshadowed. When we let all these external influences bother us, right? And then that all this external negativity slowly, overshadow this inner purity, the core purity. And again, that's when happens when this third chakra, that's the place of wisdom, that gets out of balance. Not only that, this fire stands for the fire of jealousy, the fire of envy. Remember what I said over here, that being judgmental. So when you when we continuously compare ourselves with others, in terms of where our position, what we possess, what we our physical beauty, our overall attainment. And especially this is true nowadays, with this overdose of social media, Instagram, Facebook, all these other factors where people are trying to continuously present the best side of themselves. And when we watch that, we compare ourselves with them, and we feel like there's something lacking within us, in terms of our beauty, our physical appearances, our material possessions, our achievements, right? And that's when we expose ourselves to all these negative influences, and the negativity is creeping. And then that's when we start suffering from this fire of jealousy, fire of discontentment, fire, and we become judgmental, we become emotional, right? And then we come to this sequence. That explains this sequence of God. And again, remember, universe wanted to send you this message, strong message, right? That's why I know it pulled out this another card to complete the picture, right? So this is what's going on. See, if you see again what I mentioned earlier, right? You have fire, right? And this is the fire of jealousy, a fire of the negativity, fire of the discontentment, not being satisfied with what you have, or your who you are, right? That leads to that smoke, that smoke of because a lot of inner burning, inner dissatisfaction, inner that lingering sort of uneasiness within you, right? Well, rather than focusing on your own work and trying to be a better person, trying to advance in your own field, in your own way, trying to improve yourself, you are continuously bogged down with comparison, being judgmental, right? Discontentment. And so that when that happens, what's the final result? When it has completely burned something, what left behind is ash. What happened? That means all that negativity, all that suffering, useless suffering, right? That you brought upon, you are bringing upon yourself for no reason, right? All that constant comparison and being judgmental, and cursing the world, throwing negative aspersion at yourself, right? All that ends up spoiling your true potential, right? Impending your progress, right? Hampering your progress, right? Sorry, this cough is bothering me throughout the reading. Just bear with it. So, universe is telling you, don't fall into that vicious circle, right? Don't let yourself be bogged down by all these mental constructs and concoctions, right? You are a pure soul by nature. Discover your purity, right? Stay away from all these interferences. And by interference, there's two ways. You interfering too much into others' life, and also letting your mind interfere too much with you. So get control over your mind. So how can you do that? I think meditation will be very good for these people. Try meditating, go out into nature, take a walk in nature, take some time out to spend with yourself, with some read good books, especially, Bhagavatam, spiritual books like Bhagavatam, maybe Bible, but the Gita. Find some holy association. Go to a place of pilgrimage, right? Find some holy association of good spiritual personalities, right? Satsanga, as it says, holy association, good association, that can really give you a broader perspective of life, change your outlook. Listen to good music, right? Soothing music that can help calm down your mind. So whatever can really calm down your mind, and stay away from all this social media and all these external influences, right? Try to spend some time by yourself. And nature walk is very helpful, because when you look at nature, you will see that nature doesn't expect anything. Nature only loves in giving. Nature is giving away continuously. Cool breeze, bright light, the beauty of the birds, anything. Nature is giving, whereas we are only polluting nature. So try to be like nature, right? So because once you reduce the expectations, from yourself and from the surrounding, and and you reduce your need, and you basically, you need to build you need to protect yourself, right? And I think that's why if you look at this particular card, it says agape. Agape means wide open, right? Wide open to what? You are now leaving yourself wide open to external influences, wide open to unhealthy associations, wide open to negativities, negative energies. And again, for example, if you're looking at some social media post, some Instagram post where someone is presenting themselves in a very fancy way, or showing themselves in a very scenic spot, and you start thinking, oh, I wish I could have gone there. Why am I not like them, him or her? Oh, they may be earning so much, I am not. That's like you're basically inviting all those negative energies within you, and that they are getting foothold, greater and greater foothold within you, and leading to a very utterly restless mind and disturbing your inner peace. And as a result, you are also ending up spreading that negativity to your surrounding, right? So you need to preserve yourself. You need to set some guardrails around you, set some boundaries around you, so that you are not exposed to all these influences. That's why that's why it's called agape, open, wide open. You're leaving yourself wide open, right? Don't do that. So that's why if you see this sequence over here, it's very interesting sequence, right? So it starts with this very bright candle, the candle very, glowing very brightly. Then somehow, it glows, becomes a little dim, then even dimmer, right? And if you go the other way, it starts from being very dim to little bright, then fully bright. So you are now following this course of action, right? Where your inner light, that's your inner purity, right? We are all, pure spirit by nature. We have this inner divine light glowing bright. You are suppressing that. You are letting that being overshadowed by all these negative influences and negative associations. And that's why that light is getting slowly overshadowed. But it's a time for you to walk the other way, right? Rediscover yourself, right? Set some guardrail around you. Protect yourself from all these negative influences, right? By that way, you will rediscover yourself, your spiritual nature, your true purity. And that's when, this card will become once again up, find its rightful place. And your third eye chakra will again be in balance. And remember, when it's in balance, it's a place of true insight, psychic nature, intuition, real wisdom, true contentment, peace with yourself, peace with whatever you have, who you are, and where you are finding yourself in. Because remember, every one of us, our birth is not a freak of nature, is not an accident. Every one of us, wherever we are, whatever situation we are finding ourselves in, whatever our appearance says, it's all because of some divine, it's all because of our past doing. That's what this is about, karmic debt. You may have heard that karma a lot of time being loosely thrown around. But in reality, it's all a karmic debt. That means what we have done in the past lives, that determines your current life, right? So now that you have this life, treat it with respect. Treat yourself with respect. Treat others with respect, right? Make good use of this life. It's like putting money in a bank, right? If you invest now properly, then you're going to reap the benefits either later in this very life or in the next life. But now if you ruin this life through negativities, and through this mental disturbance, and by letting yourself be influenced by all these wrong associations, or wrongful thoughts, or being continuously judgmental about others, comparing yourself, that's not only going to rob your peace and live a mess of a life in this life, it's going to also spoil your next life, because all that negativity is going to go with you and is going to haunt you in the next life. So be very mindful of what you invest, what you put in the ground today, because what you sow, so you will reap next time, right? So be very mindful of that, and also remember, whether this is your own inner lack of inner peace, whether it's your own inner, play of mind, that is bothering you, or it is the wrongful association. Maybe some wrongful environment in the office. Maybe the wrongful attitude of your colleagues or the surroundings. Even that could be the case in some cases, right? Where you find yourself in wrongful association, where people who doesn't have the best interest in your best interest in their heart and mind, right? And they are out to harm you, and that, or maybe they are having a bad influence over you, all right? But in either case, you are a victim, because if you are bringing all that on yourself, even in that case you are a victim, because you are causing ultimately damage to yourself. You are robbing yourself of inner peace. And if you are being allowing all that external association, or if you are associating yourself with those wrong people, even in that case you are a victim. So in either case, you need to set some guardrails around you. You need to preserve your inner purity, right? So, and we cannot detach ourselves totally, right? We have to mix with people. We have to go about doing our duties. But how can you protect yourself? Indulge with everyone, but be detached, right? Always know that whoever you are good. You are part of God, right? We are all pure. And find out your own goal. Spend some time on finding out who you are. What is your purpose in this life? Focus on making something out of your own life, not in comparison with others, right? Don't spend too much time in social media, right? Rather spend some time in reading. Try to keep some hours for yourself, where you don't touch any phone or any other electronic gadgets. Go for these nature walks regularly. Definitely take up meditation, right? Try to find out spiritual master, right? Pray to God to show you the path to a master, right? Try attending. For those of you who have already had the good fortune to find a spiritual master, or you're part of some spiritual organization, spend more and more time in cultivating yourself, in doing your sadhana, right? I think that's going to do a lot of good for this particular group. And again, the very fact that the universe has chosen out, brought out another card for you, and that perfectly completes this sequence. And again, trust me, God is my witness. I do all this, through random, spread. It's a blind draw, right? So the fact that another card has come out in this for your group, and it perfectly completes this sequence, and tells us, that the path, of your life, unless you correct yourself, that's a very important message for you. So because you want this card to be upright. You want your third eye chakra to be in balance. You want to find, that swan inside you. That's an indicator of true wisdom, inner contentment. Right? Read lives of great people. You will see that they had none of this material, accomplishments, this material, whatever, lot of material things, but they were happy. They were content, right? Because they knew they had found the divine wisdom within them. They have realized that they are part of God. They have found the inner truth. So no matter how much you possess in this world, that will never can never give you that enough peace. Because the truth is, when we leave this world, and all of us have to leave this world one day, we cannot carry an iota of this material, so-called material accomplishments with us. Nothing is going to go with us. What's going to go with us is all our good sanskaras, basically good tendencies. But again, the karma, right? Good or bad karma. So definitely you want to add to your good karma and reduce your bad karma, right? So that helps you in your forward journey and emancipation, liberation, right? So really think about that, and I think again, I'm very glad to be doing this reading for you, group number 4, and all the best. And again, trust me, this reading was not to be judgmental about, right? You know, we all go through this. Even I have gone through. I'm going through this every day. So it's an inner fight that we all have to fight. That's why this 9 of Wands has come out. The 9 of Wands also stands for struggle. You know, that war that we are always fighting. The struggle, you know, against yourself with your unrest, with your mind. Also struggle with the surroundings, right? Again, not to be influenced by the surroundings, right? Not to be influenced in a negative way through this overdose of information, right? Again, be like the swan also, because the swans have a very good quality. You know, the swans can pick out you know, the correct things from from a lot of unnecessary things. Swans have that ability, right? So that is why, you know, so being like swan means you also have to develop the capabilities to filter out all unnecessary information, all unnecessary influences, and only choose whatever is good for you, whatever is going to help you grow further, right? Whatever will help you become a better version of yourself. So be like that. Develop inner insights, you know, truly balanced, wisdom, wise, right? So thank you so much. God bless. Group number 4. And I'll see you in another reading soon. Bye. Hey, group number 5, the last but not the least. Let's see what the 4 card has in store for you, what kind of picture it presents about you overall and your current circumstances, and what you can expect in the coming days or months or in the future, right? Again, all the groups so far have been very powerful, and what I like so far about this reading is that in all the group, the message has been very profound and clear and strong. There is no way for me to, you know, miss anything, right? So even if I'm missing anything over here, you know, that's totally my fault. I think the divine has really spared no effort in bringing about some messages loud and clear for each of the groups. I really hope that this message, you know, this particular reading resonates with all of my viewers. And so please let me know, you know, through comments as to how you found this reading, you know, for these different groups. So group number 5, very strong group, again, just like all the other groups, and very interesting reading. So your reading starts off right off the bat, you know, with this card, right? You know, of this, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Hinduism and, you know, in our history, or what we call as itihas, you know, and the story of Ramayana. You know, I'm not going to go into that in detail, but, you know, it talks about Lord Rama and his struggle. He, being the incarnation of God himself, he came, you know, on earth to set an example of service, to set an example of how to reach a life of truthfulness, a life of integrity, a life of service and humility. You know, he didn't show any godlike behavior throughout his entire, you know, stay, during his entire stay on earth. You know, he came showing how an ideal human being should be, right? He always did his, you know, duties towards everyone, towards his wife, towards his brothers, towards his parents, towards his the citizens of his kingdom, right? And he's an exemplary character, and that's why he is known as Maryada Purushottam. You know, that is someone, you know, who exemplifies dharma, who exemplifies, you know, the rightful living, you know, the righteousness, right? So that's what Lord Ram is. You know, his life inspires even now. People who read Ramayana gets inspired as to how to lead an ideal life, how to lead a life full of service and dedication towards everyone, and to keep your own ego, you know, subdued, and to keep, you know, a greater cause, you know, ahead beyond your own personal ego. So I think so your reading starting off with this particular card itself sends a very strong message that this particular group is a group of people who are who have the golden heart, right? And also this particular card, it also talks about the heart chakra, or the anahata chakra, right? And so the heart chakra is also the place of balance. It's a place of love. It's a place of forgiveness. It's a place of compassion. And so this card coming out upright, it again shows that you are the people who have chosen this group. You are a bunch of people whose heart is in the right place, right? It's balanced. That means you are full of love and compassion and joy and gratitude, and you always acknowledge others, and their contribution in your life. You are always full of gratefulness. You are always full of compassion, and so you always want to, what your duties are. That's why, it comes with this service card and shows Lord Ram. So it's very difficult to be Lord Ram, right? Because he has gone, if you study his life, he has gone through lots of struggle. Right? There was barely a moment in his life, that was full of happiness. And it was mostly this much of happiness, but this much of struggle and sorrow. So, and you would wonder, how come God himself, when he descends on this earth, how can God's life be, so full of misery and trouble, right? And I think that is the way, God's way of telling us that, don't get enmeshed or don't get entangled in this worldly life, because this worldly life is just a life of misery, it's a life of pain and sorrow. So you have come in this world to do your duties, lead a rightful life, lead a life of honor and integrity, and so that you can leave this world and you can really find your true abode, which is in the eternal abode that is waiting for you, right? And I think this card coming out, and then again, this Knight of Wands. Look at this picture also, right? This Knight of Wands, as it is, talks about, someone who's full of energy, who's ready to charge ahead, right? And it's one of the most energetic card, in a traditional tarot deck. And so in this particular tarot, it is showing that, you are ready to charge ahead. You are ready to charge ahead probably not for yourself most of the time. You're probably ready to charge ahead to defend a noble cause, or to fight for someone else, to fight for something that is beyond your own narrow needs, right? And so these two coming out, side by side and both being upright, that says a lot, right? That says how strong, this group is. And then if I come over here, it says the gem. Again, these two also kind of tallies with each other, right? It shows the gem, and clearly it shows the gem, right? Now notice this card and notice this card. This one talks a gem, and this one says the winter, right? Now, couple of things come out over here, right? So firstly, if you notice, the gem is covered all around by all these shrubs, right? So something around it has covered the gem. So the true brilliance of the gem is not coming out, or is yet to be discovered, right? And similarly, if you look at this winter card, right, it's all barren, right? It's all gray, black. Now, again, that means what comes after winter? After winter comes spring, the season of abundance, the season of bright colors, the season where nature really manifests in all its glory, color, and beauty, right? So these two cards coming out to side by side shows that your true essence, hasn't yet come out, or you have not yet realized your fullest potential when you are reading this, or when you're watching this video, right? Or people may not have realized, your true worth, right? It's because again, this gem is clearly hidden within this lot of shrubs and lot of weeds and all this stuff, right? So maybe the environment where you are finding yourself right now, or the circumstances, may not be conducive, may not be totally friendly right now, right? And again, think about Lord Ram, right? His entire life was struggle. Now, through struggle, a true warrior, or a true noble soul can only prove their nobility, can only prove their worth, through struggles, right? If there is no struggle, if everything is hunky-dory, right? If it's a smooth sailing for you, then what do you need to prove? There is no way for you to prove anything, right? It's only through struggle, it's only through ups and downs, it's only through life's challenges that one can really prove how worthy he or she is, how strong he or she is, or how resilient they are, right? And how they can not only stand up for themselves, but they can also stand up for others, right? So that's why these two coming out is no wonder, right? Because it just shows that you may have to go through a lot of struggle, you may have to a lot of personal struggle, and maybe also given your nature, you may have to fight a lot of battles on the behalf of others for a larger cause. So people like this can also become very good leaders, right? Who can lead a nation, is full of service. Not only lead a nation, maybe lead any kind of gathering, right? Because you keep others before you, right? You keep your cause ahead of yourself, right? So this can become really ideal leaders, doctors, any kind of, in any profession, you will really excel, because to you, it's not about the money, it's not about the material cost, it's not about the personal success. And maybe that's why also sometimes, you may face trouble, because generally people like this can also be taken advantage of by, by others of not so noble nature, right? They may mistake your nobility, your humility, your good nature as your weakness, right? So that's one thing. Second thing is, of course, you may be also going through your regular dose of struggles and turbulences in your life, just like Lord Ram had to go through. That's second. Thirdly, more so because, when you take up the cudgel, you take up, a cause for a larger cause, even there, it won't be smooth sailing, right? Because if it was smooth, again, anyone could have done that. Right? That's why it needs people, special people like you all. So because of all that, I can see why, you may have to go through that kind of a winter phase, where everything is kind of bleak and it's not really, you are not yet to realize your fullest potential, or people may not be getting to know your true worth when you are reading this. But what's important is what follows after that winter is spring. And so once this gem is uncovered, right, and it shows its true brilliance to others, so there will come a point in your life, so, hopefully sooner than later, when this gem its brilliance will really shine bright for everyone to see and understand and realize. Well, when this winter will give way to spring, and everyone will realize, your true quality, your true nature, and everyone will benefit from, through your association, and you will really you will also know your fullest potential, right? And again, gold. This is what I said earlier, right? Unless you, for example, if you take a sword, how a sword is made? A sword is made by repeated burning and hammering, right? That's how a sword becomes strong. If you take gold, unless you melt gold in high temperatures, you cannot make any beautiful ornaments out of that. So for people like you to be able to show your true nature, to realize your full potential, and for others to also know your full potential, you have to go through those life challenges. And especially for people like you, again, as I've said before, those challenges may take on greater proportion. This is not to discourage you, but to also to really encourage you, on the contrary, that your path may not be so smooth, because God has a divine plan for people like you. because you are meant to do something bigger and beyond just your own narrow path, just your own narrow interest, right? So think about it, because even everyone, most of us at least, even to reach our, our rightful place, our, reach that career, the height of the career, or to reach some point of success, we have to go through our regular struggle. Everyone, unless you are really born with that silver spoon or that gold spoon, and you are amongst the very fortunate few, the entitled ones. Everyone has to go through the share of struggle, right, to reach somewhere. But when people like you, it's not only about you, it's also something above and beyond you. So you can imagine your struggle, your share of struggle may also be a little bit more than others. And also because, as I said, people can take advantage of you, of your nature, right? And when you are trying to fight for someone else or for a bigger cause, you may have to face your own challenges. Plus, in addition, it's all your regular challenges that life keeps throwing at you, right? But again, I'm not saying all this to really, make you feel disheartened. On the contrary, I'm just telling you, true leaders, you are a true leader, you are a true human being, you have a golden heart, right? And when you have a lot to offer, it's a beautiful, beautiful spread. And again, if you look at this winter card, not only what I said about this, that the winter is, followed by spring, right? So you are in that kind of a gestation period, I would rather say, where people have not really realized your full potential, or your full potential is yet to be manifested. But even in this winter, you see this, this light shining bright over here. Now, if you, for some reason, this tree, right, I consider this as a human body. So if you consider this as a human body, and actually in Vedantic philosophy, they have drawn comparison between a tree and a human body, and a human body has been, where this roots has been considered as the root chakra, and then as you go up, you go up higher and you pass through higher and higher chakras. So going by that analogy, you see this light shining bright over here, right? In a human body, this will be the place of the Agnya chakra or the third eye chakra. What does this light tell you? That, this light shining over here, this is the place of third eye. That means your third eye is already kind of open. You may not realize that yet. So this is a place of wisdom. This is a place of, perfect balance, intuition. This is a place of, focus, perfect focus, right? And strong psychic ability, wise wisdom. So it just shows that even in your darkest phase, even when it may be apparently some sort of a stagnating phase for you, even then you know your worth to some extent, and you probably know what kind of capabilities you bring to the table. And so you're already wise, right? And the true wisdom manifests not in how you can grab everything for yourself, but true wisdom manifests through humility. True wisdom manifests through love and service and compassion, right? If you for example, if you see a tree that is fully loaded with fruits, a tree fully loaded with fruits or flowers, you will see they are always drooping down, bending down by the sheer weight of the flowers of the fruits, right? So that's similarly a truly wise man or a woman, human being, tends to be very humble, right? That's what you are. So your real wisdom. Whereas a person devoid of real wisdom, full of ego and self-importance, pompous nature, will always be upright, just like a barren tree is always upright, right? Always remember that analogy, right? So again, it's a very, very beautiful spread, very powerful, and I think it just shows that what all you have to give. And you may also do well, if some of you are not familiar with the story of Ramayana, I would say encourage, definitely read the story of Ramayana. It's one of the most read literary work in the world. It has been translated into God knows how many languages, right? So please read that. get inspired by the life story, and the Lord Ram's personal character, right? I think this will benefit you a lot. And again, I think in the coming days, it's only success for you. And again, for this kind of people, given that this is not to say that you will not reach a position of success in your own personal life. You will, again, because you are a true leader, right? So even in your personal life, you will reach that level of success where people will admire you, people will respect you, right? And you will command that respect automatically, not forcefully, right? There is no glory in commanding respect through fear, or through by really luring people. But a true leader command respect automatically through their action, by standing with others, by their camaraderie with others, right? And that is what you are, right? So beautiful, beautiful. And again, you may find always good friends, and you will be a good friend. You will be a good husband or a wife in any walk of life. You will be a colleague. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, or whatever you will do in the future, in any walks, in any aspect of life, you will be a valued partner, or you will be someone whose company will be eagerly sought after or cherished, right? So that's what you are. So again, wonderful, wonderful spread, good five, and I'm so happy to be able to be doing this reading for you, and I hope it conveyed certain messages for you that you can really take to heart. So thank you once again, and I hope to be back with another reading pretty soon. Thank you. God bless.